You're here to figure out how to make your 435 perfect, or well, as perfect as it's gonna get with my knowledge. It's Mike from Slow Speed. Stay tuned. Mine's wrapped around how to get our cars as perfect as possible when it comes to power, suspension, just all around enjoyment to make the car a little better. Now is the sad part. I have to get out of the car, explain to you guys how to make your car perfect. The first mod I think you should do to your car, obviously, if you've seen that video, was, it's previous in my time, so I wasn't the best with the explanations and everything. I feel like I gave a decent explanation. However, if you haven't, check that video out in this link right here. I think this is the best first mod, and that's the first thing we're going to talk about with how to make your 435 perfect, and that would be wheels and tires. A lot of BMWs come with run flats. If it's not an M car, it comes with run flat tires, and those tires are terrible for performance driving. There's like no benefit to it. I think they pop a lot faster. They cost a lot more to maintain and upkeep. They're harder to find. I haven't yet to figure out a benefit of run flats. I mean, if you live in a very rural neighborhood where you need that 50 mile till you get a new tire or something like that, or you're just like completely stranded, you have no public transportation, I can kind of see that. However, in all honesty, just give me the spare in the back and I'll be happy with it. And to those people that say, well, removing the spare saves weight, well, adding run flat tires add weight too, and it adds weight in one of the worst spots, and that's unsprung. Everything that's pretty much after the suspension, your hub, your brakes, your rotors, your wheels, add unsprung mass to the car and is very, very crucial to the performance of your car. Lighter wheels, preferably if you want to go budget style, you can do either a smaller cast wheel, you can run a rotary forged, or you can have all out forged, which forged is going to be your big bucks. And you can run a summer performance tire and you'll be fine. So with that, it feels so much better. I want to explain to you guys, that is a real crucial thing that a lot of people miss, and you'll win a lot of races if you like, racing. Canyon runs, your car will perform a lot better, just simply because you've lessened the rotational mass. That thing helps your car look better, helps the suspension perform better, acceleration, deceleration, everything is key when it comes to your wheels and your tires. That's the number one most crucial thing before brakes, before power upgrades. Your tires and your wheels. You'll beat a lot of cars who have more horsepower than you, or whatever the case may be, simply off the strength that it takes your car less effort to get it going. That concludes step one. Step two, we're going to go under the hood. Now, crucial part to succeeding in making your 435 perfect, step two begins under the hood. If you look closely down here, you have your charge pipe. Your charge pipe connects to the throttle body, goes down, has a coupler underneath here, and it attaches to the intercooler. The reason why you're going to change your charge pipe is because whenever you send any more boost than stock, these plastic charge pipes on the N55 motors tend to crack. I've had tune N20 motors and things like that, and I've been successful with maintaining the stock charge pipe. However, these charge pipes even tend to go at higher mileage stock cars. As soon as you tune your car, link in the description, you'll see. As soon as you tune it, it's gone. Now, right after that, following through, we have our intercooler. Now, the N55 intercooler does pretty decent stock. However, we're gonna throw on a Stage 0 Plus tune, Pro Tuner Freaks boot mode. You're pushing around you're pushing around 360 horsepower, which is the same as the stock M2. It's pretty much the same stock M2 N55 calibration. However, we're fitting it on our 435s and our 335s. You'll have about a good 3 or 4 runs in that tune, and then after that, the intercooler will pretty much heat soak, and you will need to cool down a bit. Back in the car. However, one thing I will say is don't go too big of an intercooler, because too big of an intercooler is going to lessen your torque essentially, like throttle response wise, because the boost has to fill that bigger gap. It's going to increase the horsepower because you're going to have more airflow. So just know what you're going for. Front mount intercooler is not necessarily most important. However, if you want to make your 435 perfect and get that enjoyment out of it, it's the way to go. Coupled with a stage 0 plus tune, so your car is going to be tuned to 360 horsepower. Now that tune requires no backup or supporting mods. However, I'm telling you guys from experience, change that charge pipe. Number 3, I'm not going to really get out of my car because you guys wouldn't be able to see it as best anyway. It's your suspension. Number 3, I'll insert some clips of suspension in here. So right here, you'll see we have a lowering spring setup by Eibach, because that's the one I recommend if you guys are going to get lowering springs. And lowering springs are a lower cost option. They keep your stock strut, your factory strut on your car, and you add a spring to it. There are pros and cons, but more so I think the springs are for look, just to lower it a little bit, because it does throw off the geometry of the suspension. You have no strut to couple with that lower setup. However, for most people, coilovers are not the way to go because they are expensive. So I'll throw in lowering springs just because it's another option. Lowering springs and sway bar. So if you do lowering springs, I highly suggest sway bar. So lowering springs and sway bar, coilovers and sway bar, coilovers alone. But you need to tighten up that suspension a bit. The suspension can be a little soft, especially when you take your run flat tires off. You're gonna realize that the suspension could be a little bit soft and a little vague. So, like I said, we tighten up everything. We're gonna go ahead and throw coilovers. Now, these are the coilovers that I would suggest if you're in a budget. They are ST coilovers. However, I've had KW V3 coilovers on my 5 Series, and I would say if I can stand by that coilover setup, they are amazing. They are fully adjustable. Now, KW and ST are pretty much the same company, so the KW V1s are equivalent to your ST coilovers, except for the metal. The metal they use is different. One is, I think, galvanized steel, and the other one's stainless steel. Correct me if I'm wrong. You'll be able to hold the power down a lot better than stock suspension, especially at high speeds and in corners. If you want to get a little saucy and you have a rear-wheel drive 335 or 435, you can get the M3 or the M4 control arms, and what that does is it pokes the wheel out a bit. I say rear-wheel drive because I've watched Keys Motorsports. I will try to link, I don't know if I can link other people's videos, but I will link that video and I'll show you guys what happened when he put those extended control arms on his extra F3X chassis car. So if you want to get a little saucy, it just increases the camber and help with turn and grip, which I do plan on doing in this car. Now, a lot of people will say, and they'll get on this thing, and they might go into the comments and they'll say, hey, well, listen, Mike, I put springs on my car, and, you know, it started riding terrible, or whatever the case may be. And I understand that. And I even know some people that say they put, you know, KW or they put BBC coilovers on their car. Is it BC? Oh, sorry, BBC. They put BC coilovers on their car, and it rode night and day better. I don't believe BC coilovers ride too well, simply because they are rough coilover for the BMW chassis. However, I will say you guys have to think about this. If you're taking 70,000 mile stock struts off of your car and replacing it with something new, it's gonna ride a little bit better, to be honest with you, because of the fact that they are new. So the best way to compare coilover to coilover or strut to strut is new for new. You really can't correlate. I mean, you really can't compare a 70,000 mile used strut compared to a brand new one. Even OEM, it'll ride 1,000 times better. Next thing you'll need to do is to help your car stop. Now, we have better tires on there, so you have better grip. Oh my God, don't look at my wheels. See those things right there? That's your brake caliper, that's your brake rotor. We need to upgrade the brake pads inside of those. Now, this is a Brembo 4-piston brake that comes on a lot of the M-package BMWs. In there, you'll see it's 2 pistons on one side, 2 pistons on the other side. It is a fixed caliper, and these are your stock rotors. Now, I don't know why BMW did this, but on the back you have your single floating caliper with a smaller rotor, which isn't too bad. The majority of the braking, I would say about 70% of the braking is done in the front and only 30 for the rear, so you don't need such a big brake for the back. However, However, what I will say is that I feel like BMW should have went with a fixed caliber, because they do offer that in an upgraded brake package, but you should have just gave it all around. This is the M Sport package. You should give it as close as possible to the M without it being an M. And you have enough stopping power. And with the, hold on one second.
Hi.
The station lot? Yeah. All right, so you're gonna have to go above, like you're gonna have to go.
Right, but I don't know what happened. You know, go ahead. Tell me.
You're gonna have to go back. Yeah. There's a street that goes up. You're gonna have to go up and around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Good luck.
All right.
All right. You got it, lady. You got it, lady. Oh crap, it's done. I don't know. I don't have faith in her too much. You have your car in an M2 tune. It's a lot lighter. You're going a little bit faster. Taking corners at a faster speed. You're also gonna need to brake. So I will say the regular brakes do a decent job with like the bite and the all-around stopping. The bite on BMWs, I've noticed the initial bite isn't as firm, and I like that. They're not over boosted brakes like you have on a lot of your newer Japanese cars. You tap the brakes and they're just like, oh my God. And then after that, it doesn't really get any better. It just remains that tight grip. BMWs have more of a progressive, or at least that's what I've noticed on my BMWs. They have more of a progressive feel. Upgrading your pads and rotors, like I said, they will take care of the brake fade, which these cars do catch very, very much so brake fade, because it's hard to tell how fast you're going, and when you hit the brake, that's when you really know you're putting a little stress on the brakes. Now, one step above that, you can do stainless steel lines to further improve the pedal feel, help with the squishiness a little bit, and the expanding of the rubber lines. So that pretty much concludes the video on the 4 steps that I would say to make your car perfect. Now, there are a lot more options out there. If you want a little bit faster, if you want a little bit more tighter in suspension, I mean, you could just run full rods and no suspension at all. I mean, there are tons of options out there. You know, you can go straight carbon fiber wheels or whatever the case may be. I mean, there are options out there, but I'm more so sticking close to budget friendly, cost effective, and things that you'll get the biggest bang out of your buck for, because this is a 435, it's not a McLaren, so we will be using these cars for daily driving more than less. Hope you guys like this video, and now it can get worse than this. I mean, you can, if you're looking for all-out power and stuff, I mean, you could just freaking throw a pure stage turbo on it, 500-something horsepower, realize you're not getting enough, and then you can spin your way all the way there. Big boost turbo, stage 3.3 or 3.4, 800 wheel horsepower, 305 drags in the back. I'm talking about straight poly bushings everywhere. You know, port injection or the newer XDI high pressure fuel pump upgrade. I mean, it's endless. And what I'm not saying is how to make your 435 the fastest thing out in the world, but it can be done. And maybe it will be done. This is Mike from Slow Speed. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm about to jump back in the car because I'm freezing cold. You guys have a good one. Take care. Peace out.